Posted by Adam Schefter of ESPN during the show. Now, let me give you the background here. The moment it looked like Aaron Rodgers didn't want to return to the Jets, the moment that I believed he was going to be looking for a better team with which to finish his career, the Steelers made the most sense.
Yeah.
I was on radio, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
You said it right away.
Every Wednesday, we've been talking about Aaron Rodgers. It makes too much sense. That clip of he and Mike Tomlin
with
making
googly eyes, like, oh, we
eyes
love
to
you,
each
I
other.
love you, yes.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah, you're kind of
hey,
good.
There it
Hey,
is.
I like you too.
Queued up. Hey, well done.
Hey.
It's like that Sopranos gif with Christopher and who's the guy? He's not one of the core guys. He's got a twin brother, and they're doing this to each other. It's the same deal.
Right.
So for months, no. Some of the crusty old newspaper guys who like to shout at clouds and internet reports were like, there's 0.0% chance that Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers. So that's the background. Shefty, Steelers continue talking to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but ... Drum roll, please. Aaron Rodgers has emerged as a quarterback option in Pittsburgh. Rodgers and the Steelers are expected to talk and explore a union. The idea of Rodgers playing for Mike Tomlin is in play. Here's more. From Schefter. Free agent quarterback Justin Fields has been talking with the Steelers, but needs to understand more about the Jets situation and an offer that can't come until afternoon today. Oh, Shefty. Oh, you're so cute when you're naive. And I'm just joking. I'm good with Shefty now, but come on. You know that Fields already knows what the Jets are willing to pay him by now. For a position that important with a team that's so desperate to get their crap back together, he knows. So, the Steelers and Jets with Fields mulling options and Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson waiting in the rings. I think that if that's the reality, somebody's being careful not to get caught with their hand in the tampering cookie jar. Sounds like Fields is going to go to the Jets, which opens the door for Rodgers or Wilson. And between the two, Chris, I think you and I are in complete unison.
Definitely.
Rodgers, without a doubt. Sorry, Russ, we love you. Great career, but you got one club left in the bag, and it's not good enough at this point. Rodgers can still sling it as long as he stays within the boundaries of what his legs will do and doesn't injure himself running around faster than his aging ligaments and tendons are able to do. He could still be effective. And now he's got DK Metcalf. George Pickens for now. If not George Pickens, they'll draft somebody, and he'll come in and be good enough because they have a history of that. Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I've said this before. It's 90 miles away.
Well, you're thinking about jumping ship. You wanted to go to Philly. Maybe go to Pittsburgh with your guy.
I'm kidding because I've threatened to abandon the Vikings if they added Aaron Rodgers. But that's because the Vikings have a young guy that we need to see what he can do. Let's not slow his growth. Let's see what J.J. McCarthy can do. In Pittsburgh, they ain't got nothing.
Nothing.
I think it makes a ton of sense for the Steelers, and I think it's exciting if he goes to Pittsburgh. So it's not an anti-Rodgers thing. People are like, oh, what a shock. You'll turn on the Vikings if they sign Aaron Rodgers because you hate Aaron Rodgers. No, I think the Vikings don't need Aaron Rodgers, and I don't want the Brett Favre career arc. I think in Pittsburgh, it makes a ton of sense.
Agreed. I think it makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, they got a team with a lot of veteran players on it still, as we know. So, and they've played a lot of playoff football the last few years. They've been involved, even though they don't win a game or get deep into the playoffs. It's that caliber of team. You know, they're battle-tested. And, yeah, quarterback's been an issue for a while. And, like, to your point and what your original question was, is yes, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson all day, every day, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. No question there. Aaron Rodgers' only flaw he has as a player right now is he willing to stand in the pocket and throw the ball down the field? When he does, he can still throw it with the best of them. His arm is still special. You know, he's still got a quick release. So that's not the issue. You just don't want him to overtake the game and become, oh, boom, it's all these quick throws, and we're never attacking the defense in any way. But, yeah, he's got a good completion percentage or whatever else. Now, hopefully that'll change, and hopefully he'll be able to realize that with a guy like DK Metcalf, and certainly looks like an improving O-line there in Pittsburgh. We know the defense is going to be pretty damn good. There's a lot of pieces there. And for a guy that's at the end of his career, and as we've discussed many times, the options that are out there are not very wow right now, right? You're not looking at Seattle going, wow, I want to go there. The Raiders have moved on. The Giants, there's definitely questions there and what you would like, and do you want to be a part of that because they are kind of like not that good as we know. The Steelers are one of the more appealing teams out there. No question. It would make sense all the way, Mike. I think you were on it, and it's gonna. If you made me bet right now with that move with DK Metcalf, now it looks pretty to Aaron Rodgers, and he's going, With that, I think we can make it work now. A little different look to this football team, and I'd almost expect it to happen for him to be in Pittsburgh.
And the gears sometimes move slowly to get to where they need to be. I think the Steelers thought they could lowball Justin Fields and have found out in recent days that's not going to work because the Jets want him and the Jets are willing to pay him more than the Steelers will pay him. So the gears then move toward options. No Russell Wilson. What about Aaron Rodgers? So the Steelers took a while to come around to it because they thought they'd be able to get Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. They evaluated between the two, and they weren't considering exterior options. Now that it looks like they're going to lose Fields, and they really, when it's nut-cutting time, as Jason Garrett would say, they don't want Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers makes a ton of sense. And when we heard at the Combine that Rodgers had reached out through his agents to the Giants, the big takeaway was nobody wants him. Nobody good wants him. If he's reaching out to the Giants, there's nobody else. The Raiders, as I said earlier, they were never interested. Other good teams looking for quarterbacks, not interested. The Steelers would have been team one if I'm Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Where do I want to go to finish my career with a playoff berth? Just a playoff berth. I don't need another Super Bowl. After the last two caca seasons with the Jets, not to be confused with like most of the prior caca seasons the Jets had, but after the last 2 years, let me go somewhere where I at least get to the postseason. How about the team that always gets to the postseason no matter how average or less their quarterback play is? How about that team? I can go there and do what I did this year and get to the conference championship potentially with all the talent they have around the quarterback position. So it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for both. But what are they going to pay him? T.J. Watt's looking for a new deal. He's only making $21 million this year. The market's now up to 30, well, up to 40. We got to talk about Myles Garrett coming up later. That's going to make it expensive to keep Watt. And I think what makes all of this so stunning for the Steelers are the ultimate, along with the Packers, the ultimate draft and develop and build from within team. That's why it was surprising last year when they fired their entire quarterback depth chart and brought in Wilson, Fields, and Kyle Allen. But combined, the three of them made less than Mason Rudolph made with the Titans. So it's one thing to say, oh, wow, you're going out and getting all these veteran players. Yeah, but we're not paying them anything. This is the year it changes, Chris, and this is the year that the message gets a little muddled in the building. Because if you're T.J. Watt and you're trying to get paid, and they're giving up this guy who's never played here $33 million a year, and here I am at 21, what's going on in Pittsburgh? And then I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to want. I don't know what he's going to get. Maybe he does a sweetheart deal for Mike Tomlin to make it easier to win. He gave up $35 million on the way in the door with the Jets. Now, I think he did that in part so they would listen to everything he said when it came to personnel, and he could hold it over their heads for his full tenure there. Not that it worked. But I think what Rodgers takes is going to be key because give us an idea of how strong the Steelers have pivoted, not just toward getting veterans, but giving a ton of money to guys who have never played for the team before.
No, I know. Hey, DK Metcalf's special. Right, like we've talked about. We've seen big receivers go to teams. It changes teams instantly. We're really only, like we discussed to start the show, there's only one team that's been able to get away with it. And that's the team in red because they got 1-5 at quarterback. Right? He's the only team that's been able to get away with it, win the Super Bowl. The Bills tried to kind of pull it off, and it's just too hard. They got to figure out some other pieces on their football team. They've done that, right? The Ravens tried to do it, and then they finally said, hey, the hell with it. We got to draft Zay Flowers. We got to start getting some guys around this guy. He's Lamar Jackson. He's maybe the greatest quarterback we've ever had. He can't do it all himself. It doesn't matter who it is. So I think that the Steelers, of course, are looking at that. He's a special guy. Like you said, like whoever you talk to, the highlights we showed, I mean, he's a one play, can score from anywhere on the football field. So, yeah, you pay that guy. Right? I would expect Aaron Rodgers is not going to be looking to break the bank. Just give him something respectable That's what I've expect. That's what I've kind of heard, right? Nothing substantial there. I don't know that for sure. But I think in the long run, too, like what you're explaining about Aaron Rodgers, the situation, Pittsburgh, where he wants his legacy, how he wants to end his career, I don't think he's going to hold their feet over the fire for a lot of money. He's going to be more like, hey, you got to make some moves. You got to do some stuff here. And that, to me, is where the thing about T.J. Watt, who certainly deserves to be paid more. I get that. But this is like, what, really only the first year or two. He's what was averaging $27 million a year, right? That was about the average. He was the benchmark until Bosa and now Crosby and Myles Garrett have surpassed him. I know they're going to get something done there. But also, too, within all that, all I'm saying is the Steelers still need to make more moves. If they think, like, just because they get Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, I'm not going to go, well, now they're going to win the NFC North. I'm a negative Ghost Rider. You got to get a few other players. It's the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are stacked. The AFC is stacked. So that's the other thing that, you say about T.J. Watt. I go, yeah, I'm sure they want to give him more money, but they still got to improve their roster throughout if they think they're going to be a Super Bowl type team or a team that can win a playoff game or two in the coming season.
No matter what moves they make, I guarantee you they will not win the NFC North. I guarantee you that.
The AFC North, sorry. Yes.
I do that all the time. And it's weird because the 8 divisions and the 2 conferences and the team configuration, it's like if you could put a tattoo on your brain, that is the tattoo on my brain. All the teams in the right, but when it's time to say it, I get AFC and NFC mixed up all the time. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.